How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. I don't think there's any way to really shorten that title because it's very succinct in what it's about, you know what I mean? You get it all across in the title, just like that. Anyway, we're in adolescence now. Let's see how that goes, because even at the best times, adolescence isn't, fun. But in the year 1126, it's probably considerably less so. Your family expects more and more from you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes at all times. Your life these days is dedicated to study for your future. For the future of the Brante family. Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It is a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they've left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He's on the porch, sobbing, all covered in dirt. You walk up to him as he continues to bawl. It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. I said I'd call my brother. He's still there. You have to go punish him, Brucey. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see two boys lingering there on the porch. They are clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way, just like him. The other looks older, almost your age, but he is more broad-shouldered and taller. His name's Thomas. You've heard it before. There, Brucey, that's him. Nathan points at the younger boy and hides behind your back. Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeves to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labour for quite some time. Listen up, rich boys, we don't give a damn about you or your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. Your hands clench into fists before you react. Nathan called them names first, no wonder they did the same. That's how it goes, but pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You're about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started this whole mess. Let's go, your brother is to blame, because my brother is to blame. It takes you a few moments to compose yourself and quell your rage. Your brother has put you on the spot. He couldn't bring himself to apologise, and now you have to settle this for him. And how are you supposed to do that, pray tell? If you had done this, grandfather would have had you flogged, and father would have scolded you and given you the cold shoulder for days afterwards. You frown and ask Nathan to come closer. You address Nathan sternly. He told you these boys were to blame, but he was the one who called them names first, so how is this their fault? It serves him right. Next time he should watch his mouth. Your lecture sounds a lot like father. You think your tirade came out well enough. Nathan pouts, looks away and furrows his brow. Still he nods. Thomas slowly shakes his head in disapproval and bursts out laughing. To him this is actually hilarious. Wow, would you look at that? You're a right little nobleman. Are you going to push him into the ditch yourself now? His words turn your seemingly perfect solution into a repulsive absurdity. Blood rushes to your face. You step closer to Thomas and shove him, hard. He jumps back, surprised by your assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he's ready. His fists cover his face, and he attacks you with a quick jab. Now it's your turn to take a step backward. Thomas does not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fists aim for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him, but he takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You start swinging your fists with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will this take? You're worn out. Your breath grows ragged and your muscles grow heavy. There's no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching. Desperate and out of options, you swing and punch Thomas square on the nose, and immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your head like a bell and blinds you for a moment. The world swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Thomas is standing in front of you, blood dripping from his nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it too. But you keep standing there, eyeing each other angrily. Then suddenly you hear an angry shout right next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman apron is shaking his fist. Thomas's face contorts into terror right away. It's my father, run! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of that makes you run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wooden planks. of the back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sounds of pursuit. You exchange glances with Thomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating. And then he'll start nagging me about the lots and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always have to get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting's the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? The adults didn't see you fighting, you tell them. So all you have to do now is convince them you weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Well, we could try it. Let's hope our little brothers don't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good as new. You assure him that Nathan will never tell, and in return, you'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into a ditch again. With that, you shake hands with Thomas. His handshake is as strong as you would expect based on his fists. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Thomas's father goes to your family and complains about you breaking your lot. You come to a realization on the way back. You had no idea the place where you were hiding even existed. And it wasn't too far from home. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I'll tell you what, if we get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old wall. It's the perfect place to build forts. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps, he just gets in the way. You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you made a friend today. Hell yeah, Thomas is the man. You made a friend, a boy named Thomas. Not a bad start. Friends are good. A problem shared is a problem halved. It is a blistering hot day, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. Soon as you are done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. You and Thomas roll up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps. You would gladly go shirtless, had you only been in the company of other boys, but there are 3 girls in the yard today. They're doing their laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If you could, you'd gladly keep watching one of them at work. She has big eyes of deep blue, her dark hair is braided, and her plain grey dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. You sure love telling tall tales, Brucey. Oh, I remember this one time. But then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. But then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles and falls flat into the dust. The street starts shaking from the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the road from around the corner. They bear the coat of arms you recognise right away. A sable serpent blade upon the field of vert. It symbolises the Melanidas dynasty, the family of your province's archduke. The horses dash forward. A lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hooves. They will not slow down. They are the nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia is in their way, just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately to get from behind the fenced door. You freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop? Or are they going to trample her? In only a few moments, the beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. Oh, I can save her. But we're going to die if we do. Shit, let's do it. Sacrifice. You throw yourself blindly into the road, swinging your arms wildly. Dazed by the sound of the thundering hooves, you can see nothing but dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee to the roadside. But then the riders dig their spurs in. Dozens of hooves knock you off your feet and roll across your body. Your bones crack, break, and crumble. Your ears are ripped apart by the thundering rhythm of the ride. Your innards are pulverized. The last thing you remember is the sound of your own skull caving in. First death. You fall into a pain that embraces you like a soft featherbed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It is a feeling unlike anything you've ever experienced before, something absolute and complete. You touch something greater, the reason behind everything, the reason for your very existence. You were sculpted from this light. It was the first thing you ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast this light in all directions, and now you are here again, one with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from you resembles the light of the shining pillar. You still see it in the north as always. The waves of light carry you to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept you. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You do not know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over to you and plants a feather-like kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. You are filled with unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist. You are unique. There is no one else like you. They know this and they love you. You will never be alone. You are a part of them, a part of your family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave you. They watch over you constantly. The elder softly touches you as you lie spread out amongst the waves, sending you further down the torrent of light. You float on to the top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down along its trunk, but you do not wish to part with the warmth and softness, with the love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. Oh man, it looks like I want to be dead. Being dead sounds like more fun. As you tumble down towards your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love exists not only in the hereafter, it is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? Okay, we get to pick a important thing. Empire. By creating the Empire, the twin gods cared for all living creatures. The Empire is the only thing that gives us place in the world and a connection to others. It is an enormous family made for people by the gods. Lot. The gods give you a clear mission in this world, thus gifting you with your very being. This is the manifestation of their love for you and all living things. Family. Love always lives in kindred blood. You share the miracle of life in the universe with your kin. Your family is what you are given upon being born and what you leave behind when you depart. Cause. The love the gods have for you is so great that they allow you to change the world they have created, to influence it with your deeds. Whatever your mission is, it is a proof of the twin gods' love for you. Yourself. What could be a stronger manifestation of love than your very existence, your very emotion? Every emotion, every thought, every action exists by virtue of the love from which the twin gods created you. Cause. A sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain the sensation of your flesh. It is light. It is heavy and unwielding, the opposite of that. It lacks that lightness, that light. It is a burden. It is smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully. You feel as though your lungs are about to burst. The stagnant odor of the crypt fills them. Revolting, but so real. You're back. Then you can feel again. You sense your body, head, arms and legs. The light fades around you, obedient before a will that is stronger than you. You return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. You will return to the world until the time of your true death. And in this world, you'll have a body with which to feel pain and suffering and pleasure. You smell a sickly, moist odor. You open your eyes and see the figures of mother and father in the gloom of the family crypt, speaking to each other quietly. They stop as soon as they hear you gasp. Mother runs to you and locks you in an embrace as father wraps you in his cloak. Neither of them says a word as they lead you out to the surface and back home. You've met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless ever again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. You tremble. Your steps unsteady as you learn how to move again. Your body is eerily smooth, fresh and renewed. Even the recent scars and scratches are all gone, but there is something new on it, a fresh black mark, a reminder of your lesser death beneath those hooves. Remember that by the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times, they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but the 4th death is true and final for all. Every loss of a life we were granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we humbly accept this and move on. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not mourn your loss of life, my son, but thank the twin gods for their justice. Do not speak of this, and do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. You cautiously go back outside the next day. Children from the neighborhood surround you. They all saw you get trampled, and now they ask you the same question. What was it like to die? Thomas rescues you from their pestering. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs you and pats you on the back. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. Then you see Sophia. She is standing nearby, shyly working up the courage to walk over to you. Soon she finally approaches you and begins speaking rapidly. Brucey, why did you throw yourself in front of those horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours. So why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was all those riders' fault. They deserve to die, not you. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. You stay where you are, watching her run. The golden rays of the sun dancing in her braided hair. Okay, my willpower went down again. Pooh. Sophia saved. Cool. You saved the local girl named Sophia from a lesser death. I don't know that. It could have been her 4th death, for all I know. How would I know? Better to be safe than sorry. And I know it wasn't my 4th death. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incident with the horses. Her friends gossiped that her parents sent her off to serve a rich noble dynasty. You haven't seen each other since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, the sunlight shining in them, but no matter what, life goes on. You're 10 years old now. Your studies continue and you are learning more about the land that you live in. Anazot is an ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All soil in Magra was turned to ash eons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of Duke Char. Melanidus? The magical arts are all but gone now, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching winds in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root on their own. All fertile land in Magra is brought elsewhere, and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. To pay for food and soil, the cities of Magra became skilled in many trades, primarily mining and digging for metals and stone. Last fall there was an explosion just outside the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke. The first such incident frightened the citizens, but then explosions and smoke became an everyday occurrence. Soon everyone grew used to it. Father explains that the miners are using a new invention called gunpowder. It makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Then one day a thunderous explosion rocks the city and black, billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes, all windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody's watching. If Mother hears it, she'll make you inhale those hot herbal vapors just like Nathan. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour out into the street to meet their friends. Thomas is eager to share everything he knows about the incident with you. They took lots of burnt up people to the city temple. Mum told me she was helping the healers. There are many rumours. Some claim it was the work of a beast stirred from its slumber, while others say it's the surviving witches that continue to threaten the Order and the Empire with their accursed powers. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home and then you'll ask him about it. Father spends day and night working for at the prefecture while Mother spends all her time in prayer. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home, and he's almost completely spent. You muster enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened outside the city. Father raises his head, his face a bleak, weary mask, and starts muttering his proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside the city. They were trying to get a vein of ore. There was an explosion, the mine caved in and the black smoke started flowing. Many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mines, wanted them to start mining that vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture had been inundated with complaints from families who have lost their breadwinners, asking the judges for help. Many people also lost their cattle to the black smoke. Count El Velasco blames gunpowder for the disaster. The prefecture and the newspapers just repeat whatever he says, but it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen that are to blame. Why is the welfare of our province always paid for with common lives? Then, without warning, he grows silent again. I knew our dad was a good guy. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? A single moment of bad luck and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple or the family crypt with a new black mark on your arm, or worse, you remain where you fell, dead, never to be reborn again, ever. Wealth of Magra goes up. Oh my god, this is like city-wide stuff. During lunch, Father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stefan will be returning home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather, Gregor Brante, yay, as well as a noble friend of the family. You're excited about your brother's return. It's been years since you last saw him. How's he changed during these years away from home? Doesn't he hate us now? You and Father await the guests anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is the first to come in, naturally. He's not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver, whom you'd barely recognise as your brother. Stefan casts a glance at your threadbare clothes and dirty fingernails and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. You've heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Elborn, Stefan's uncle, a family friend and the province's prefect, which means he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir Elborn smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your younger son, Brucey, eh? You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there is a moment of quiet when Stefan's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There is a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noblemen oughtn't put our emotions on public display, father. Not even after a lengthy separation. There is no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses mother's hand, and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair. See, he seems like a nice guy. After he sees him hiding by the table, grandfather acknowledges them with a glum nod. Greetings, Lydia Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child, and you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. You proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at grandfather. He looks like he's about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love. I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stefan. But there was still a family for him. And he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps. And who knows, perhaps even the younger men of the Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy low-born cretin! Everyone is startled by the sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He is glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over his glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Be gone this instant! The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on the small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She is sitting right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over at his gaze. Father furrows his brow. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. Then she rises. She starts to rise from her chair. If the Brante gentleman so wish it. Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? It is all grandfather's doing. Stefan could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission, and yet they are noblemen. They have the right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not want to see it. Yeah, I'm gonna go join Gloria. I'll go serve too then. You deliberate for a moment, then take the napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later, you hear the sound of another chair moving. Your mother joins you. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make small talk with father, but in vain, so he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stefan. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stefan's achievements at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword-fighting skills. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. As you wait at the nobleman's table, you, your sister, and mother never bump into each other. Your labour is impeccable. Grandfather could not even find fault with it even if he tried. Your shoulders and back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and shared their humiliation, and the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. +1 for Gloria, and +10 willpower, that's good too. We'll need that later, I'm sure. Like, badly. Our willpower's always so low. Hot, dry winds sweep through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anazot prefer to remain in their chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You're on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance and you are to deliver it. Thomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable now. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Anazot where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city's square, resting on ancient brickwork by the old fountain in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Thomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. This is our lot, you remind him. We work and endure and suffer, but Thomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know all that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble, our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So, how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you for example, Brant. Your father's a nobleman. But even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You've never had to work as hard as me. But we have the same lot, so we're supposed to suffer the same. Well, look at your father, he's a judge. He toils at the prefecture day and night doing his judging, and he's a noble? I've never seen an Arknian work as hard as he does. He shrugged. The Arknians are a different race. The books say that they were born to rule over the humans. They're never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the Empire after subduing the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Arknians are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course. You've never seen one yourself. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rabble like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestones and see flags bearing a coat of arms, a sable serpent on a field of vert that makes you squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms. The Melanidas dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders, suggested but not revealed by the cut of her dress, her black hair cascading over them, her stately, slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes, dark like the night sky. The way she moves, fluidly, gracefully, and most incredibly of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece given life. She is an Arknian. Clear the way for me. The Melanidas guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Arknian lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief and leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Melanidas, our Archduke's own daughter. The Arknian turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to you. Her handkerchief. It's right there by your feet. Intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Arknian's attention in order to return her lost possession? Or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? Are we going to get mashed? Stash the trophy. Keep the handkerchief as a memento. Alright, let's do the big one. Let's do this one. Hopefully we survive it. And then we'll wrap it up. It takes you a moment to overcome your fear. You follow the young lady Melanidas and call out to her in a nervous voice. She turns around, her beautiful face marred by a puzzled expression. You extend the dropped handkerchief towards her. Lady Octavia's face contorts into a sneer. She signs the guardsman indifferently. The guardsman gauntlet-clad hand slaps you in the face. It rings your head like a heavy bell. Your nose cracks obediently under the staggering force. The rest of you follow suit and you fall prone. You can discern the guardsman's voice through the painful din in your ears. Should I take the handkerchief back, lady? After a commoner's hands have befouled it? Let him wipe himself with it for all I care. The carriage drives away. Thomas runs up to you and drags you back to the fountain. Your head is still ringing from the blow. The fateful handkerchief is still crumpled in your hand. Ow. Well, that sucked. Met a girl. Yeah, she smacked me in the face. Well, actually, she got somebody else to smack me in the face. So that's even worse. Alright, well, that seems like the perfect time to wrap this one up. We got smacked in the head and now it's time to wrap it up. Hopefully, the rest of Adolescence goes a little bit better, but I guess we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.